And welcome to another episode of the Jay and Rob Show. I am your host, Rob McCallum. And you're expecting two of us, and we'll get there. We'll satisfy all your expectations. But just for the time being, I'm going to soak up the fact that you're dealing with just me. Because I'm in complete and utter control at the moment. What's that you say? No, put down the knife. Put down the knife. I'll bring him on. Okay, the Freddy Krueger to my Michael Myers, Mr. Jay Bartlett.
What happened to you? What happened to you in the last little while? Are you okay? Have you shrank? You look smaller. You all right?
There's a plug-in for that. How are you doing?
Good, man. I'm tired, but I'm here. I got some coffee, and it's as a grown man of the age I am, I get up early and I go to bed early now. So
there's nothing wrong with that. I fully believe in that. When
I
can fall asleep before 11, it's a good night. I quite enjoy getting as much sleep as possible.
Yeah. It's oddly enough, it's reversed where I used to like to stay up. I don't mind it now when I don't have much to do the next day, but I really enjoy getting up early now, which is strange. Getting up when it's still dark and doing stuff, working on this and that, and puttering around, as the old folks say.
But I hate, as much as I love to get up early and to get the stuff done before the day, I hate trying to get stuff done with a deadline. So if you've got to be somewhere at 9 o'clock or you got to do something, so you get up at 6 and the time just ticks down. It's like, oh, I got to rush to get this done, instead of having the whole night ahead of you to go to sleep whenever. Just, have a little less sleep to get the thing done. I get you. I want to say hi to everybody that's in the chat room right now. We've got a few people already logging on, which is awesome. Cactus Jamie has said, sweet mug. I don't know who you're talking about, Jay's Empire Strikes Back or my Mr. Dress Up. Either way, we've got Tata the Toy Guy, who's already said hi. What's up, Tata? The Tate. Lisa Bearcat is giving the horns. Still, this is just like old times. We won't hear from her again for the rest of the show. It's just the rock and roll horns at the beginning, and then see you later. Silver Knight Kyle, greetings, gents, and our good friend Nelson is saying hello as well. It's like the old gang is back together again.
It is, and to defend her, she doesn't really have to say much because her presence is felt. In fact,
I know. Oh,
I can feel it right now.
I can feel her weighing on me as well.
It's good to see Nathan back in action. And Kyle, what's up, dude? Kyle's a big supporter of me, which I really appreciate. And Jamie, Nelson, thanks for tuning in and listening to us old guys talk about when there was better days.
Supporter of you, huh? I see that as Kyle. You're going Team J. Why? Because he
comments on my YouTube stuff all the time. So I think just guessing.
I think it's because you strategically set up the Fortress of Fangs just to be in the frame for tonight's show.
Well, when I was doing the other the Four Toyman podcast, I had the table here, and I would always, whatever the theme was we were talking about, I would put something there to kind of, hey, we're talking about D&D stuff.
There's what's odd for us though.
That's what I was just gonna say. That even the figure I'm gonna show off is not D&D. So I don't know. You know what? I love this playset. It's my second favorite, and
it's cool
for everyone to enjoy. And actually, you picked up that one for me at Treehouse. I had a kind of a empty shellish Fortress of Fangs after mine got trashed when I was a kid, and I was looking at piecing it together, and it's, oh man. There's 2 skulls and like this cage prison that are worth hundreds of dollars, and it's crazy. And then Rob called me, found one at Treehouse for, a couple $100, almost complete. So I jumped all over that. So that's what you see right there from our good buddy Chris at Treehouse and my good buddy Rob.
What's funny about that is I stopped at Treehouse because we happened to be filming in the area for the Mr. Dress Up documentary that I'm working on. Dave was with me. And we were shooting literally down the street. And I said, Dave, we have to stop by Treehouse because when you're in the area,
you got to.
That's what you do. And they had that there. Because of course, Jay, hey, I'm at Treehouse. Anything you're looking for? No, not really. Like, Jay, they have a Fortress of Fangs. Is it complete? It's pretty good. Not too bad shape. So that was cool. That
that's
they were able to
about
do
it's
that.
about 85%. It's missing just a couple. It's missing that jail and the skulls, but much better shape than mine, and it has the treasure chest, which mine did not, and that is really the centerpiece of that whole place. That is that chest in the center. So
Yeah, that's nice. The Robot Menace wants to know if we're going old school since the old gang's back together. If we're going to talk about Captain Power, well, just to make Danny season 2 tribute video go bad, Captain Power, Captain Power, Captain Power, Captain Power, Power On with Captain Power. We've talked about it. I'm sure we'll get back to it. Silver Knight Kyle's chiming in again. He still has the love for you too. Rock and Rob. Is that the moniker we're going with? Cindy is saying hello as well. Hello, Cindy. And Bill, the former resident of London, Ontario, now living in parts unknown with no reason to come back anymore now that you've picked up your disc and your dollies from us. Sorry, Bill.
Yeah, Bill got a pretty sweet piece from Action Figure Adventure, and again, I still feel like I can't say anything, so I won't.
Save it for camera.
It's a piece that I still want, and I've only ever seen that one time that we picked up, and he's got it, and he's got it nicely displayed in his house, and it looks just gorgeous. So that's
true.
Awesome, Bill.
Speaking of Action Figure Adventure Season 1, if you want to grab a DVD, a digital video disc, or a Blu-ray copy of Season 1, the pre-order is back up at Big Bad Toy Store, which of course is affiliated with all things we do, our podcast, both our TV shows. Big Bad is completely on board. And we're working on some sponsors on the Canadian side, maybe a little bit, getting a little creative with that. Of course, we've got Heroes Comics as well in London, Ontario, that has Action Figure Adventure on DVD. Yeah. Dark Matter Collectibles in St. Thomas has it on DVD. Giant Robot Comics has it as well. Retro Rewind also has Action Figure Adventure on DVD for your viewing needs. So check out, hear what's happened, follow the journey. And I got to tell you right now, I'm pretty excited because I'm getting quite a ways through of Season 2 right now.
Oh, you are you? You having fun reliving the summer road trip? I love the little tidbits you've been sharing with me, and I won't say anything, but oh my God, it's just like, oh shit, I remember when that happened. Or yeah, I remember when we were in that place. A lot of fun times and a lot of things that you brought up that, you know, my mind is not what it used to be. So you bring up a lot of things. I'm like, did we do that? Did we go there? And sure enough.
I forget most of it too until I relive it in the moment. So it's actually pretty great. And because, you know, there was really only 4 of us, it's really hard to share it with anybody else. And I don't expect Dave and Ryan to be fully conscious or get excited by the same things that you and I would get excited about. So it's cool to share that. And I think I'm partway through episode 8 now of the hunting footage. Now that might get compressed still with everything that we still got to film, but it's kind of like the first pass, a little long in the tooth maybe, but good quality fun. So it's exciting to go through it. Maybe next week we'll maybe every week going forward we'll tease a potential episode title, because that's one of the things I love sharing with you, and one of my favorite parts that I mentioned. I like naming these episodes, which always have that pop culture reference as something to do with the show.
Excuse me. And you've come up with some really great titles this time. Some really creative titles. I think we should share some stills too, not necessarily of us, but maybe just of a few cool B-roll shots that the guys shot, because not that I'm comparing the 2 seasons, but all I can say about 2 is that it's just jammed packed full of insanity and just crazy pieces that just blew my mind. Totally.
Yeah.
So we should share some of that. Yeah.
See if we can share a potential title, maybe at least a still per week, still of the week kind of thing. I did want to talk about some sort of confusion that's going on, and maybe you and I can come up with some sort of creative exercise before we get into the meat and potatoes of tonight's episode. And before I do, I got to say, not only do you have the Fortress of Fangs on display, but my eyes are hunting the way that your eyes hunt in the toy stores, and I see the Crystal Castle behind you, the Ghostbusters Firehouse, 2002 Castle Grayskull, and the flag. You're just in the AT-AT, the AT-AT. Is that the transforming Optimus Prime behind you as well?
Actually, that's from my pal Mike, when he recorded with me when he came over here, he brought it just to let me kind of borrow it. He's cool like that. That is to scale to GI Joe Optimus Prime. So if the
Wow.
GI Joes were actually the humans, that's how big Optimus Prime would be to them. So he's like, "Hey man, I want you to have this for a while," and put them on display. And I was like, "Jesus, cool! It's super cool. It's huge."
Question
Um,
is, what did you have to give him in return?
What did I give him? I gave him like a cup. He's a big cup fan, and I had from the '86 line, and I had two because again, saving one for the box. So I gave him one of those. He loves Lionel Standard and cup, so I was like, "Here you go, man." It was really cool. It was a lot of fun.
Aw, trading dollies. Dolly Brothers.
Yeah.
It's serious now. I like it. I like it. Motu Joe is saying buy 3 copies of Action Figure Adventure or more. Do it. Do it now. Motu Joe, Mock Masters, and Retro Rags are also a big part of everything going on with Action Figure Adventure Season 2. So big shout out to them as well for supporting and sponsoring the cause. The controversy I alluded to that I've been hearing in the background of things, chats, and I've had some questions, some DMs since Season 2 of our toy show has rolled out, Jay, on Jinx Esports TV and on Vimeo for everyone else around the world is, I don't understand. The Jay and Rob Toy Show, you guys do that every week on YouTube. So what's the difference with the TV one? Why am I watching on TV when I can watch it on YouTube? Have you heard this?
No, but it was something that a few people said last season. I mean, I can answer that. That's easy. The production is 20 times better. It's not live, which I missed that part because I love talking to everybody. But the production is a lot higher. Rob and I painstakingly took photos, and Rob shot a bunch of video of everything we talk about. So there's a lot more that goes into it than this podcast. This is like a bare bones. We get to hang out and talk to everybody every week kind of thing. But the TV show is just that. It's a TV show, and there's a certain set of standards that it has to broadcast quality standards that it has to reach before it can be put on TV. So I would say those are the differences.
Yeah. It's us talking toys, so that's definitely a lot of overlap. We certainly showcase action figures every episode, so that's overlap. So I wanted to propose something, Jay. Possibly a name change to our live stream to really just further help differentiate, because the toy show on TV is not, the name is sticking. I can't resubmit, and I'm just not going to do it, folks. I'm a stick in the mud. Cactus Jamie is saying, I didn't know about the YouTube show until I watched you guys on TV. It's exposure. Oh, that's fair. That's fair. It's hard for me, I think, when we're doing promotion to say, hey, check us out at 7:30 and then check out a show with the same name at 8:30 on YouTube.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, so let's change the name of the live one for sure. Yeah,
Toy Talking with
cool
two totally awesome guys.
Basement Dwellers, plastic
Toy Lords. The Toy Lords,
buddies,
because they're the Scarf Lords. The Toy Stream, Jane Rob Toy Stream.
like Doll Buddies.
Oh, got to get dollies and scarves in there somehow. We would love and welcome your input to name this live stream experience to help differentiate from our television production that always seems to get in the way of everything. So, shout out some different ideas, guys. We'll see if we get any quality responses by the end of the show. And if we don't, then we'll come up with something all on our own. Whoa, what was that?
I don't know, man. He just came down from the cosmos.
What was that? We were just invaded.
Oh. The Jay and Rob live stream, Nathan says. That's not bad. I mean, that's to the point. Yeah.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. Tater with the most obvious.
So I think with this is that obviously the meat and potatoes is toys. But I like Nathan's idea where it's just like our names are in it, because we often go off the rails, like we will today a bit about talking about trailers, and we talk about comic books and TV shows too. So I think that's a really good title.
I really like having toy somewhere in the title or action figure somewhere in the title, just because if somebody doesn't know and they stumble across it or they search, toy podcast or something, then there's a chance that it could come up and they could discover it.
Jay and Rob's Toy Box is
Jay and Rob's Toy Time Happy Hour, the London Scarf Lords, Northern Exposure, TP Down by the Car, Don't overcomplicate it, Nathan. Don't undercomplicate it. How about that? How about that, my
So
friend?
how about we get on with the show, and these poor people don't have to listen to one of our production meetings here. Let's get on.
No, this is the show. That is the show. This is why it's so different from the
This is why
TV
it's on
one.
TV.
That's laser focused.
And let me just say how awesome is it that friggin' Seinfeld is on Netflix? That came on just after we got done shooting the bulk of season 2, and it's on in the house here 24/7. It's always on the background. It's so awesome. I just love it. I love it.
It's good. It's good. I'm burning my way through Curb Your Enthusiasm, the newer stuff that I haven't seen in the last couple of years. So same kind of thing. I like where your head's at. I do have an icebreaker we haven't got to. I want to hear, Jay, a childish thing that you still do. So something fun that you used to do as a kid that you still kind of maybe just play around with doing today.
Okay, well, I mean, if you're gonna embarrass yourself, you might as well embarrass yourself. So everybody grew up with, like a baby blanket, right? I don't know why I'm telling this story. Everyone grew up with a baby blanket, and I hung on to mine for way too long because anyone who knows me really well knows that I can't stop fidgeting or moving. So I'm always fidgeting with my hands, and I used to like take my baby blanket and twist it up and just like rub it on my hands and that kind of thing. It was like a nervous twitch. Obviously the baby blanket went bye-bye, but I started adopting, like, I would take napkins and things like that, like from McDonald's. McDonald's were the best, and like Tim Hortons, which is a coffee shop here. And even tonight when I was eating dinner, I do that with my napkin, and I just fold it up and I just scrape it on my hands. I think that's a pretty childish thing that I still do. Or a nervous tick, you be the judge.
It's a comfort mechanism for sure, because you're sitting there soothing. It's a soothing mechanism. That's what that is. That's okay.
That's why when we were shooting, I brought the drumsticks so I could spin those instead of.
Let's see it.
Because I didn't want touching all the stuff with COVID and that's probably dangerous in the public areas. So I just brought the drumstick. But anyway, that's mine. What's yours?
That's way safer. much safer than having a little napkin.
It is, because I could be like, put that down, smack.
When I get out of the shower, I always still put my towel on me like it's a cape.
Oh,
I don't know why. Okay. I dry myself off and then I just hang the towel over my shoulders and I, brush my teeth and do my hair. And I don't know why, but that I just
do. You you got 2 towels there, or you just got the?
Oh no, it's just the one. Just the one. That's what makes me super.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
okay.
We're ending on a high note, folks. You wanted to talk about some trailers this week.
Don't put this on me.
We're putting this on you. I said, what do you want to talk about? I want to talk about movie trailers. And I said, Jay, but we have a toy show. Like, okay, we'll talk about television trailers. I said, okay, we'll talk about TV trailers.
That makes sense. Because that makes
way more sense. It makes much more sense.
Yeah, I brought up the Book of Boba Fett. And what was the other one? Spider-Man?
Revelation Part 2.
Oh, Revelation Part 2. We could throw in Spider-Man there real quick too, because that just came out. Yeah,
you're just assuming I've seen it.
You haven't seen it?
I've seen it.
Yeah. So which one do you want to do first? Why don't I think Boba Fett is going to be the longest for the usual reasons. Why don't we talk about He-Man? Let's start on a nice positive note. What did you think? I watched it twice. I want to hear your initial thoughts, since you're the master of the universe. I want to hear what you initially thought.
It's hitting all the right beats for me. Like it feels like the arc is completing what it needs to do to tell the story. Everything is falling in place. Everything that they've set up has that call and answer to it. So I don't feel like it's going to go in a strange direction that nobody foresaw. The whole, is Adam alive? Can he be He-Man without the sword? I think is the biggest question that people are going to have. And we can talk about that specifically. I like all the cameos of characters. I think there's a lot of flashbacks still within that. I don't know if everybody gets brought back from the dead, hence why, Orko's maybe back and Scareglow is back and some of the other people. I'm just not too sure on how some of the events fold out, but I think everything from a writing standpoint, it lines up where it should.
No, the the first thoughts I had were, holy crap, did they just give that away? Oh, I guess Skeletor's god powers don't last. Oh, I guess He-Man's back. Oh, I guess, Evelyn is the evil sorceress. Oh, I guess Tila becomes the sorceress to combat Evelyn. They gave way too much away. And then you have to give us Orko's voice at the very end. Did you really need like all that stuff that you gave away? And I'm just kind of wondering, and you would know better than I would, if that trailer was cut a long time ago, or if they cut it recently to kind of appease the fans that have really crapped on this thing. And they're kind of like, no, He-Man's in it. And Skeletor's gonna be beaten again. I just thought they showed way too much, man. They had the cards down like this and we could see everything. I was like, really? I saw too much.
Well, I mean, I really don't care about how much they showed. I just want to know where the story's going, right? Like there certainly isn't enough suspense. I completely understand what you're saying there. Yes, a lot has been revealed, but this is a trailer for essentially part 2 of a story that is essentially 2 feature films back to back. I don't care that there's no like kind of big mystery. It's almost hard to do a mystery halfway through unless it's going to be a very short teaser and it just shows what Skeletor does with his powers. So, as far as is the trailer effective or not, I don't care. And I understand why you have beef with all of those reasons. And you're 100% right. It could have been better constructed for the sake of a trailer. In terms of where the story is going, that's fine. Obviously, we knew that Tila had a bigger destiny. That's always been part of things. I thought Evelyn as the counter or the anti-sorceress with a bat kind of motif instead of a bird. I thought that was really cool. Surprised it wasn't more like Screech, though, to kind of play off the old figures and whatnot. Of course, Skeletor is going to lose the power. But I think the biggest thing that people take issue with, can Adam be He-Man without the sword?
Well, apparently they can, apparently he can, because he says it. It's like, not even do we get like a hint of it. He actually says, oh, the sword was just the conduit or whatever. He-Man's always been in me. I'm just like,
yeah, I've been the spark.
Again, I'm like, did you really just say that in the trailer? So once again,
yeah, but that's no different than the figure of Skelegod coming out even before the show.
Oh, also ridiculous. I mean, that was the worst thing they did. And listen, let me get this straight. I'm not taking away from the show because I think the show's wicked. I really do. I think you got to have some surprises, and I'm sure there will be some still, but there was just way too many. I think it was them trying to win back the people that don't want anything to do with it. I really do.
Well, we heard the beefs of, this is the Tila show. Where's He-Man? Where's He-Man? You killed He-Man right away. So this trailer certainly showcases how much He-Man can possibly be in there and how much more of it is He-Man versus Skeletor than what we had seen in part 1. So yes, probably to appease, but it's also where the story is going, regardless of what fans like or didn't like. So they chose to showcase that for sure. I'm not a huge fan of the whole, the sword was just the conduit, as if it channels the power a certain different way. Like if that's
the lightning rod, it's just a lightning rod.
Why does he need the sword at all then? Why is that ever there? Why does Skeletor need the sword to call down the power, but He-Man doesn't?
Maybe it's a deeper, like, you really got to believe in yourself kind of thing, and the sword helps you do it, but ultimately the power is within you. You have to believe in it. Maybe, I don't know.
I think it's a little bit like the Thor thing with Mjolnir. Like Thor is still the god of thunder, whether he has Mjolnir or not, right? It's just if you're worthy of Mjolnir, you're able to wield it and pick it up, I guess. I don't know. I think I hope that they have a good explanation of why some people need the sword to access the power of Grayskull and why other people don't, and who all those other people are, because that seems like really nebulous when you start diluting it like that. Like, keep it simple. If you need the sword, then you need the sword, and that's it, right? Like,
and
just make it simple.
I think it was really, really cool that the sword was the power. Like in the sequel trilogy for Star Wars, everyone was after the Skywalker lightsaber. I thought like The Force Awakens did that so well, and that everyone was chasing this to find Luke. That was great. And now it's like kind of like the same thing. It's like, well, the lightsaber doesn't really mean anything. Well, this sword power doesn't really mean anything because no matter what, he's going to become Savage He-Man anyway. It's like, okay. I guess you got to see it. And of course, I'm going to watch it. I'm really excited for it. But yeah, I really hope they don't mess with the mythology of Masters of the Universe too much.
Yeah, because they did a brilliant thing by having the sword split in half and having to kind of recombine them, right, for part
Yeah.
one. I thought that was cool. So having to go back down in that direction would be great. But
that's such a big part in watching Roboto, who's created by Man-at-Arms, and he dies putting the sword together. So if the sword doesn't mean anything, that whole part with Roboto's sacrifice means nothing, which would really suck. Because that part was great, man.
If nothing matters, then why are you building it up in other parts only to dilute it later? Like, don't take the piss out of something that you've worked hard to build up and add gravitas towards it. Because if we're falling for it, then don't piss it away. It's just like Luke throwing the lightsaber over his shoulder. Like, that's just like, I get it. I get it, but I don't agree with that specific choice. I like Last Jedi, for the record. Okay, next trailer. What do you want to talk about? Boba Fett or Spider-Man or 8-Bit Christmas has been thrown out there for us to discuss as well.
I haven't seen that one. I haven't watched it.
We'll talk about that next week.
I can't comment on it. Let's talk about Spider-Man that I just saw this morning. I think it came out today or yesterday.
Last night.
Yeah. Wow. I had to watch it twice. There's a lot going on. I will say, I would probably say my favorite part was when Doc Ock has Spider-Man pinned upside down. He rips off the mask and he's like, "You're not Parker." I was like, that's cool. That's really cool.
I mean, it's cool that they've been able to retcon all the other Spider-Man franchise attempts, and they've also been able to like avoid the origin story with this new iteration of Spider-Man, because the audience is quite familiar with how Spider-Man comes to be. So to be able to bring all that back in is great. Here's the problem with the multiverse stuff. You could say everything is multiverse, which just dilutes any of the potency of every iteration. If it's all together, then
it's lazy writing.
Yeah, I just think you can say
lazy.
It doesn't make anything special if it's all part of the same thing. It's cool to see Doc Ock. I really like Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, so it's cool to see him back. Was never a fan of Jamie Foxx as Electro, even though they've now changed him to be green and yellow in this version. Goblin, you and I have never liked the design of Goblin, so we'll
Sam
see.
Raimi, Deadite Goblin,
We'll see how it gets used and employed, and how all these villains come in to interact. Obviously, the big question is, will we see the other Spider-Mans in this universe like we saw in the Spider-Verse, or are we just going to see the villains? Because I think it's like some of the other Spider-Mans have died, and that's why they're not there, and some of their villains are taking over the other dimensions.
Well, there's all the rumors that would have gone on for a year and a bit where Charlie Cox is supposed to appear at least as Matt Murdock, which would be friggin' awesome for me. I would love to see Daredevil in that, and that's going to be his reentrance into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, kind of rebooting that character. I don't like the Iron Spider suit. I don't like how he's like Tony Stark's apprentice. That's the one thing I don't like about this new Spider-Man film franchise. Is I don't like
that whole part's gone now. Obviously, he's no longer.
Well, he was fighting with the arms. He was fighting Doc Ock, and he had 4 arms. And then Doc Ock had 4 arms. I'm just like,
right, the suit, but he's no longer has anything to do with Iron Man for all those.
Sure, well, Iron Man's gone, but I mean, I don't like that. Again, I'm old school Spider-Man. It was really a lot more interesting than number 2, which I didn't like. I do like the idea of, everyone kind of knows who he is, so he goes to Doctor Strange to kind of, I don't know, whatever it is, go back in time and change stuff. I like that aspect of it. One reason I talked about What If a little bit last week, and one reason I like What If so much is because it reminds me of the expanded universe in Star Wars, where they're isolated stories that aren't connected to anything else. It's like a Twilight Zone episode. You take it for what it is, and that's it. That kind of multiverse stuff I like. I don't like how it's like, oh, okay, well, Doc Ock died. Oh, forget it. Let's just bring him back because that's the Doc Ock everyone likes, and we'll just say it's multiverse. I just think it's lazy writing.
Well, I think what's even lazier is magic solves everything. Well, how do we want to do this? Well, if I cast a spell, we can do that, but
Yeah.
careful what you wish for, which is obviously the critical lesson that we're learning here. And then
Well,
magic can rewind the tape too and bring it
but
back.
Doctor Strange, he's always warned not to do this stuff, and he does it anyway. So it's his fault too, because he still goes on with it.
I don't
right?
care whose fault it is, but like when you play with
Yeah.
magic, shit's gonna happen. But the fact that magic can undo and put everything back is the shitty part, right? So if magic can undo it like it never happened, then don't give me a multiverse 2.5 hour movie that isn't going to have consequences later.
Well, and there never will be consequences, because you can just get Doctor Strange again, and if something happens you don't like, go into that universe and do that. So again, this is the nostalgia is kicking in for me, and I love the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. So it's great to see those characters again, but at the same time, it's like this whole multiverse thing is just, that's one reason why I stopped reading comics in the 90s, was because something would happen and then all of a sudden it didn't happen. And I just felt really cheated, where I come from.
Yeah,
like Star Wars, where it's
in it.
like, if they killed a character, they were dead. Okay, so Obi-Wan would come back as a spirit, that I can accept, right? But he's still dead,
Yeah, well, when you get invested in something and then it's undone for some stupid reasoning or logic, you feel betrayed because you were led to believe something, and then, wave the wand. Oh, Robin isn't dead after all, or Superman didn't die. It's like, well, you just said he's dead to sell a bunch of books. That's pretty obvious at this point.
Yeah, it always comes back to Death of Superman in 1991. That was the final nail in the coffin for me for comics in the 90s. But that's for another tale. So are you excited for Spider-Man?
Not any more than any of the other movies, to be honest. In fact, I think
Yeah.
it's a larger hill for them to climb, given what they're trying to do. Not just to appease the excitement level, but just to pull off what they're trying to accomplish with all the multiverse and have it balanced. Because the biggest downfall of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, the third one, is there's so many villains, right? And that in itself became too much of a juggling act, instead of just focusing on Sandman, which was played by Thomas Hayden Church, which was awesome, and he makes an appearance in this trailer as well. They would have just focused on him instead of having Venom in it as well. And then I don't know. It's just a lot to manage when you have too many villains, because which is the main central antagonist that you're trying to overcome? It's hard to align all those balls. That's why like Star Wars works so well, because you're always worried about Darth Vader, not Darth dummy, Darth moron, Darth stupid, and everybody else playing at the same time. You're only worried about one.
The way they've cut it, at least the first trailer they showed, was that Doc Ock was the kind of the brains behind everything.
So I think you're going to see Doc Ock turn, though. I think he's the one that learns the lesson, and he'll actually become a bit of a mentor figure in this, and he's going to be the one that helps them. He's going to use this as a chance of redemption, because he has the most believable backstory from Spider-Man 2, right? He's just trying to do it because of the healing power and to provide for the world.
So I will say that I am not a fan of Tom Holland. I'm also, one of my favorite James Bonds is Timothy Dalton. So what do I know? But there's something about Tom Holland that just doesn't do it for me. I don't see him as Peter Parker. And quite frankly, the cast of characters like Mary Jane and his buddy that's with him all the time, they're just so dislikable. Like I don't like any of those characters, so that's a big problem. Whereas the Tobey Maguire stuff, I really liked. You can make fun of Tobey Maguire all you want. I liked him as Peter Parker. Mary Jane, I can't remember her name. What's her name?
Kirsten Dunst.
I liked her. I thought she was great. I even liked Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. He was a little cockier, but he worked as Peter Parker. But Tom Holland, I just can't get behind it. Can't get excited.
Oh, you see, I like him because he's still so naive, and they're really playing that, he's learning to be a superhero angle. And I find that if I have fault with any of the other Spider-Man iterations, it's that they rush through the high school years of Spider-Man so fast to get to the college stuff and beyond. And there's so many stories that get set while Peter Parker's in high school. And that's a huge charm of the character. We love the street level heroes so much. And the fact that one of those street level heroes is a high school kid, that's a huge hook there for me, where these kids are really
nothing to do with that. It's nothing to do with that. It's the actor. I'm just not a fan of the actor.
Oh, I
who
think the
plays
actor's
him.
fine.
Yeah.
But what I don't like
Yeah.
about those other stories is they move out of some prime storytelling territory right away in order to age the characters out and arc those stories to end them prematurely.
I would like to see a nice normal Spider-Man movie. Like Spider-Man's been out since the 60s. Like if you even for little kids, it's like who doesn't know his story? Can we just get a story with Spider-Man and just I don't need his origin. I don't need to see
Well,
the
that's why
origin
they
of the
didn't do it
villain.
with
It's
Tom
like
Holland. They
let's
never
just
even
go,
did it.
you know?
But that's why they didn't do it with Tom Holland. He never had an origin story.
Yeah, they did the mentor thing with Iron Man, which I thought was just like, oh, and I can't blame them for trying something new. I applaud them for that. But the whole like I didn't like it. I didn't like how we got a suit that he could go into space and come on, man. This is getting a little stupid here. But again, it would be like giving Daredevil a jetpack. It's like, okay, well, he's not Daredevil anymore, right? He's something else. But I want to see it. I'm definitely not going to make a trip to the theater to do it. It takes a lot to get me to go there. But if it's on Disney Plus, yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
I don't know if it'll be on Disney Plus, given it's a Sony film, right? So you'll probably have to wait until you can rent it or Netflix acquires the rights to stream it.
I'll wait. I'll wait.
All right, Book of Boba Fett, which is coming to Disney Plus, and then we'll talk about some toys, folks. I promise.
Okay, so all I've read and all I've seen is people dumping on it, which is no surprise because it's Star Wars, and that seems to be what Star Wars fans do. No offense to all Star Wars fans, but I'm just so tired of it. It seems that nothing, and I mean nothing, makes you happy. And I'm going to quote Junkman here because I watched his video when he was talking about the Book of Boba Fett. And the number one complaint that he read also is the same one that I read. Are you ready for this, Rob? What do you think is the number one thing that people complained about the trailer? Just take a guess. I want to hear what you think.
I'm guessing it's that his helmet is off most of the time.
His helmet comes on and off. Absolutely. So the mystery of the character is gone.
Mystery was gone in season 2 of The Mandalorian from that side of it.
The mystery was gone in 2002 when you saw, Jango Fett without the helmet, and that's Boba Fett. That's what he looks like. Come on. It's just crazy. And then the other thing was that he's bigger now. This really pisses me off. Okay. A bunch of our idols that we're into, Rob, music guys and stuff like that, like Vince Neil, they're bigger now. And I hate how you're a 40, 50, 60-year-old man and people expect you to have the body of a 21-year-old with a shredded six-pack. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. The fact that Boba Fett or the actor is just a bit bigger, I think that's great, man, because he's older. And guess what? That's what happens to people when they get older, man. They think the guy's going to run on a treadmill for 8 hours. I think it's ridiculous. But anyway, those are my two complaints. Other than that, I liked it. They didn't give away too much. I really don't know what it's about. He's taken over Jabba's palace. He's kind of looks like the crime lord of Tatooine. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, what's funny about the old magical spell of aging is, had they cast a different character, people would have been upset about that. Because wasn't he a clone? Shouldn't he look like Jango from 2002 and now it's somebody else? What's wrong with that? Well, we gave him a six-pack at least. So shouldn't you be happy about that?
Well, and I know
fans, right?
I know that Daniel Logan was driving hard to play this part. And Daniel Logan played Boba Fett in episode 2. But the problem is that I can't remember his name. Tamara something.
Tamara Morrison, I think.
Morrison, yeah. He's the right age that Boba Fett should be at that time in the Star Wars saga. So he was the perfect choice.
He's also the voice.
Yeah, well, there's that. Yeah, exactly. You're not going to change it now in the saga. You're not going to. I just think, I don't know. Star Wars wise, man, I don't know what people want. And frankly, I don't care. It's just ridiculous. It's nice that we're getting a break from The Mandalorian because the way season 2 ended was so epic. I'm still riding that high. So I'm glad Mandalorian will be next Christmas and we're getting something different this year. We're getting Boba Fett.
As far as my take on the trailer, it's kind of the opposite of what you said about Revelation. Like, it gives nothing away. Wish there was a little bit something to go on, some sort of hint of story. I think we'll get another trailer down the road that really kind of points the direction of what the season is. Because right now I just feel like I'm looking at pretty shots and cool one-liners and, like you said, very mobster mafioso kind of imagery set in the Star Wars universe with some scenes of conflict and, you know, blasters and guns, and none of it really does anything for me. But I also don't really give a damn, because sign me up. I just want to watch and see how it unfolds. This whole culture of trailers and the countdown to the Spider-Man trailer, the countdown to this trailer, it's like,
Yeah.
it really kind of misrepresents what matters most, and that's kind of like good storytelling. You know, you want to check it out, go check it out. Sit down and watch it. Don't judge the movie based on the trailer. Yes, it's going to be indicative of it, but creating a trailer is so much different than creating the episode or the feature-length film. They're completely different art forms.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that totally. I think that there were so many people right away that were like, I'm not even going to watch this. And I just don't know how you can have such a closed mind with obviously you love Star Wars if you watch the trailer. You know, Joe Schmo who doesn't know anything about Star Wars isn't going to watch a Boba Fett trailer. Boba Fett sounds like a car part or something. They're going to know what that is. So it's just Star Wars fans are going to watch this, and it's just judging right off the bat. Off the bat. It's just like, oh, this is not how Boba Fett should be. Boba Fett should be like this. It's like, what?
I'm really curious why it's called the Book of Boba Fett. Like, why is it a book? Is this something that people are going to find later with all his tales written down? And these are like different chapters and adventure that go into the book. Is it like his rule book? Like, I don't know. So that it'll be curious to see how they weave the title into that. I mean, because The Mandalorian is a pretty self-explanatory title. But I got faith in the creative team. Like, why wouldn't I? And I think more than that, everything that's come out of The Mandalorian really has a shot and has earned my trust. So this, Obi-Wan, when we get that later, I'm super pumped for, of course. I just want to sit down and watch it all. You know, I don't care about the trailers. I'm not going to get emotionally swayed one way or another and go online and clang, clang, clang on my keyboard and say how upset I am that the helmet's on and off. It's probably hard to breathe in there in that Tatooine heat. Jesus.
But it's so funny. It's like everyone needs to, even Darth Vader removes his helmet.
I know, and I'm going to write about it tomorrow in a blog. I'm going to write about it tomorrow in a blog.
And I don't know if everybody thinks that all, you know, Mandalorian tribes are the same or go by the same creed. They don't.
But don't you know, when you remove your helmet in Star Wars, it's like not good. You don't do that, Vader. That's why Vader died. That's why Finn didn't become a Force user. He removed his helmet. You should have listened to Phasma. Should have done it.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm looking forward to, I think it's December 29th this year. So that's a really late start, but I can't wait. It's going to be great. I think all three I'm going to check out for sure. So no real complaints, just some minor stuff. But again, I'll say it to everybody out there. You don't have to watch anything. People feel obligated because they like Spider-Man that they have to watch this movie. You don't have to watch this movie if you don't like it. If you like the Filmation He-Man and you don't like Revelation, you don't have to watch it.
You have to watch it. You have to have an opinion, and you have to share it.
You got to buy the new toys.
You got to do it. You got to do a live stream with the Toy Lords. Let's talk about one more thing and then get to Action Figure Spotlight. There's a bunch on our list, and I'll carry it over for next week's discussion, Jay. I want to talk to you about the newest big toy item that is causing quite a divide for one of the most rabid fan bases out there, and that is Super 7's TMNT Party Wagon that comes in at a hefty price tag of $450 from Super 7.
Wait a
minute.
But
if you live in Canada, $450.
How much is it?
$450. But if you live in Canada, it's $499 US.
What are you talking about? It's $450.
It's a true story. Did you not know this?
No.
I'm gonna have to.
Ridiculous.
I'm gonna have to double check this. I'm looking this up. Yeah, it's $499. I'm gonna do a little screen share right now. Hey, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna bring it on the screen.
Oh my god. Give me a break. That is ridiculous.
$499 from Big Bad Toy Store. So for us Canadians, that's what it's 500 or US dollars plus shipping plus duty. So this is
Okay, hang on. It's let me clear this up here. It is to scale with the 6-inch figures, correct?
yeah, look at this. So it's 20 inches long. So it's almost 2 feet long. It's over a foot high, and it's over a foot deep as well. So it's room for 6 Ultimates, which are the 6-inch scale figures. So very comparable to the Thunder Tank. I think the actual dimensions, because the shape is a little bit different than the Thunder Tank. It's not as wide, but it's taller than the Thunder Tank.
Okay, so my usual way of thinking comes into play with this too. If turtles is your thing, you know, maybe it's not so bad for you if that's what you collect and you're all in on turtles. For me, I have the vintage one, and that's good enough. I'm not saying it doesn't look good, but it's, you know, the same reason I didn't pull the trigger on the Thunder Tank, man. It's ridiculous. I would rather take that $500 and put it towards the Cat's Lair if I ever found it, the LJN one. But I think you might be you might have pre-ordered this. I think someone told me that.
Oh yeah, it was an insta buy for me. I mean, look at the details in this image right now that I've got that they've just littered the inside with. We talk about, you know, the small details on vehicles like Rhino on the inside and the little steering wheels and all the little doodads that they got for those figures. This is a 6-inch scale version vehicle. Seatbelts, duct tape. You can tell how lived in it looks. Insta buy for me. Yeah, it's expensive, but like you said, if Turtles is your thing and you're all in
Yeah.
on the line, which I am for the Super 7 Playmates one, I've, capped off the cartoon one from NECA. I'm pretty much done with the movie one from NECA as well, because I can't think there's too much that I'd want to get that. This is the perfect capstone. I've already hit kind of where my figures ended as a kid. So any other figures that I think Super 7 is going to release based on the Playmates figures is going to be outside of my past playtime nostalgia. If it's a cool figure, maybe. But this is no different than basically 2 waves of figures. So I could either buy the next 2 waves of figures of characters I have no connection to, for the most part, or I can get something like this and just truly love it.
Yeah, no. There's no way. And I love the first gen of Turtles very much. There's absolutely no way I'd pay $499 for that. Mm-mm.
Oh,
No,
I'm
I
100% in, because I
can't
know
wait
when
to
I
see
get
it.
it's going to be great.
Oh, it's gonna. Of course, it's gonna be great. It better be for $500. That's crazy talk, man. And we talked about last time the Sky Striker, $300, which also is ridiculous.
229, but yeah, that's pricey.
With shipping and all that. Yeah,
People said the same thing about Classics Grayskull and Snake Mountain, though. And frankly, Snake Mountain was super pricey. And I
Yeah.
don't know that it's worth it for that price. I mean, of course, it's gone up in value, but there isn't much to it. I mean, it's sitting behind me. It looks beautiful. But on the inside, just like the original Snake Mountain, there really isn't much. So you're really paying for that awesome sculpt on the outside, which you can't really set figures up on, save 1 or 2 spots. So it's really just a display piece. And yet it costs like the same amount as the Party Wagon. But the Party Wagon, you can have 6 figures in there. It can close and open. It has all that detail. So
Snake Mountain was the same price as the Party Wagon?
Yep.
Oh, dude, that is obscenely overpriced for that vehicle. I'm
Costs
sorry.
have gone up, though. You got to remember, it's been 3 years. Look how much.
Even
Look how much
so.
the average figure has gone up. So think about how much tooling has to go into that. I'm
think
100%.
it's also crazy too, which is we talked about slowing down too, right? With this stuff.
Well, I was going to challenge you about something about that.
Yeah,
that's in my notes too. I was going to say I have a slow down challenge for you.
Sure.
The slow down.
I'm up for it. Any challenge.
All right, the toy slow down challenge. The Jay and Rob Toy Show live stream Toy Crusader slow down challenge. I challenge you, Jay, not to buy any more toys going forward until the end of season 2 airs on Jinx. So we've got 8 or 9 more weeks to go.
Oh boy. You're not even like doing like soft, like you can't buy anything for a week or 2. It's like the whole thing.
It's the whole thing. Now, if you have a pre-order and you've already set it up on Big Bad, don't touch it. It doesn't count. Gifts from other people, because Christmas is around the corner, doesn't count. You can't get somebody to give you a gift and then you give them money. That's skirting the rules. Has to be in the spirit. You're not going to buy anything for yourself.
I think I'm up for the challenge. Again, you and I have talked off camera about this and how it's just getting a little bit too much for both of us. I'm not saying I'm going to be successful or you're going to be successful by any means. In fact, I have little faith in both of us, but I'll do it. Well, what are the
Okay.
stakes here? We got some stakes or
No, there's no stakes.
no?
No stakes.
Just the honor system, and if you cave, tell the other guy, and then
It's
we'll
for
post
the
it
honor
on
of
Facebook.
Grayskull.
How about that? We'll put it on Facebook, and we humiliate
Yeah.
ourselves. So if
S-
I cave, I'll post it on social media, and everyone can make fun of me, and
Yeah. So
same with
some
you.
sort of video where it's like, I, Rob McCallum, accepted and failed the toy buying challenge.
And let me tell you something. If you fail the toy buying challenge, that toy better be pretty damn impressive, man, to do it. Yeah, I mean, I'm just
And that
looking.
includes making new pre-orders. You can't pre-order anything new.
But I don't have bats or alley viper yet.
Well, I'm sorry, buddy. That's the challenge. There's Revelation figures coming out I don't have either.
All right. Too much
All right.
Seinfeld. Yeah, I accept. Let's do it. You're on.
Okay. All right. We'll see how this goes, folks. Next week, we'll both be out posting our videos. Let's do action figure spotlight. Jay, we had on our Jinx TV show, we did an action figure spotlight centric episode where it was nothing but action figure spotlights because so many people loved that part of this show and last season. So we crafted a game where we each picked 3 or 4 figures and we had to guess what the theme was, tying all our selections together. Check it out on Jinx Esports TV or on Vimeo this Friday. You can check it out as well. I have a couple figures that do tie together. I don't know if you only have one figure to show, but what was that? What was that?
I don't know.
Again?
He came down from the cosmos again.
Okay. Do you have one figure? Do you have 2 figures? What do you got?
Besides Onyx Silver Surfer, I do have another one that I would like to show. Yeah. So
okay. Well, let's do these quick because our time is running out. We'll try to do 2 figures each and then wrap it.
Oh no, I wasn't really gonna spotlight Surfer, but this is the Onyx Surfer. I had to get 2 of this guy to open it. A fantastic story. Again, messing with time and stuff like that. He goes back to take out King Thanos and he has Thor's hammer. This wasn't the figure I was going to spotlight, though. This isn't anything I picked up too recently, but I'm very happy to complete one of my favorite toys of all time. And Rob, I know you love this line too. It's just Prince Dargon. I finally found all his accessories in one in really, really great shape. And I'm such a big fan of the Sectars line and just how gorgeous they are. The colors, the metallic shine, and he's got holsters for all his weapons. He can carry everything, which is great. And I just wanted to show that off because I don't think Sectars get enough love. That's my Prince Dargon.
That's interesting. Now, I know you didn't come into this crafting a theme, but if I was going to try to guess a theme, I would say that Sunbow and Marvel did cartoons in the 80s. Silver Surfer was a Marvel character, and I believe it was Sunbow and Marvel that did the Coleco's Sectars, correct?
Yes, that's a good guess, but you're wrong. I didn't know there was supposed to be a theme, so I'm just going to make up one like you do.
I know, Rob, mine are legitimate themes.
You're wrong. It was 2 figures that happened to be on my desk. So nice try, but better luck next time, buddy. Better luck next time.
I was so close. Let's see if you can get mine. So my first figure I want to showcase, fresh from a mail day, is Spider-Man Sandman. So there you go. They call him Marvel Sandman, of course, not to confuse with everything else. So I don't know if you've seen this yet figure. It's that lovely thick cardboard that I love from the Spider-Man retro waves. But there he is. It's just such a beast of a figure. I don't love the sculpt, though. I find him a little square. Look how square those shoulders are. He doesn't really have kind of that heroic or that villainous kind of arching posture. But I love all the accessories that we have here that his hands and can come out and throw in alternatively, and that alternate head is great. But I find him a little stout and a little blocky. compared to
I
some of
think
the other
he's
figures.
I think he's supposed to be, right? Because he's always turning into sand stuff.
I guess, but I found the same problem with the Goblin figure from the line. I find him a little kind of narrow unnecessarily.
Maybe they're doing a
know.
little bit of a retro throwback in the sculpts. I love that figure. My buddy Kevin showed me his the other week, but I haven't found one yet, and I guess I'm not allowed to get him now. So
Yeah, well,
well, see you
this is
later.
mine. So that's one. So now this one is a deep cut, and you're gonna see it, and you'll be like, only you would get this as an action figure. You probably don't even know
Not
what
please,
it is.
no more Dick Tracy stuff, please.
No, it's not Dick Tracy at all. This is Kevin. Now, do you know what Kevin is, Jay?
Pixar something.
Yeah, so it's from the movie Up. This is from Matty Collector. So the new Mattel online collector portal where you can get stuff like that translucent Skeletor that I got. They're doing a run of Pixar Spotlight series. So you can see there the Pixar Spotlight series. They now have Woody up as well as Wall-E from the Pixar films. And this was the first one they put up. So this was $40 US, but this is a 9.5, 10-inch figure that is fully posable in a lot of different ways from the movie Up. It has Kevin, which is actually Mama Bird and his or her babies, and it's really unique, and they've never really done any figures from that movie, and it's a personal favorite of mine. So I thought the price was pretty great for what you get on it compared to some of the other figures that they're offering, especially that Wall-E figure that they just announced, which is G.I. Joe size. So 3.75 inch for $40 US, and you get a couple accessories compared to something like that. Now, there have been other Wally Chachki figures, but this was cool. And in the spirit of me opening more and more stuff up, having something like that bird, which is a little bit like a Where's Waldo in the film where people are trying to catch it, I can just see me putting it in different spots in my collection and it kind of hiding and standing out in fun ways. So oddball niche pick that you would never have in your collection, but I thought it was cool and I really dig the sculpt on it. So that's why.
No, it's cool. I don't even think I've seen Up. No, I haven't seen Up, so I don't know who that character is. But I know you're into all that stuff, so that's great.
So, what is the theme that connects these?
Is it the voice of Sandman? Does that character too?
No.
No.
Dun, 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 dun. Wah, wah, wah. No, these were just figures that were on my desk. So these were figures that were on my desk, and that's the theme for tonight. There are also figures from the mail day.
That was my theme. You can't have the same theme I have. That was my theme.
What are the odds? They're also figures from two companies that Disney has bought and produced movies for. So you can go with whatever theme you want. I'll tell you that you're wrong and say what the real one is as we do. Where can people find you for more shenanigans and online playtime, Jay?
Oh, check me out on YouTube, just my name. And I'm around on social media. I love talking to everyone, so stop by and say hi. Share your toy stories with me too, because I get that every day. Someone's like, hey, have you seen this? Or check out my collection. It's cool, man. I love seeing the joy that all this stuff brings to everybody. So yeah, please keep reaching out. It's awesome.
And I'm having fun chatting with everybody on Twitter these days at Rob McZob. Drop me a line there. You'll see all the different things that we're promoting, of course, but instead of just being a nonstop promotion machine, not that I don't like talking about it with you guys and hearing what you guys think, we're posting a lot of other stuff too. Just weird, fun, crazy stuff. So get with us on the Twitter and the Instagram if you are a slave to the gram, like so many of you are. We end every episode with the same fun catchphrase, which we might have to change if we change the name of the show. For the love of toys, Jay, and the warmth of scarves.
Take care of yourselves. No, wait, that's your line.
Take care of yourselves.
Does everyone out there know that we just ripped off Jerry Springer?
No, we changed it because we added the other part on top.
Well, say it again. Line.
For the love of toys and the warmth of scarves, take care of yourselves.
Because the best time.
No. And each other.
Oh, and each other. Sorry.
Because the best time of Jay? Jay?
Let's just quit where we're ahead, okay? It's
the
playtime.
Best time of day, Jay. What's the best time of day? The best time of Jay is play, Jay.
The early morning, that's when I think the bestest.
All right. Thanks for watching everything on Jigs. Grab a DVD of Action Figure Adventure. We'll see you next week, folks. Cheers.